Most people think making more money solves their financial problems. Then they make more and nothing actually changes. The pressure just moves. More income, more decisions, more ways to misallocate. Because the problem was never the amount. It was the direction. This is where most systems quietly break. Not at the start. Not during the growth. But right after. This episode breaks down why. The common belief is simple. If income increases, outcomes improve. And on the surface, that feels logical. More money should mean more progress. But what actually happens is different. Money doesn't fix direction. It amplifies it. If allocation is unclear, more income just increases the speed of mistakes. And you don't feel it immediately. At first, it feels like progress. More spending flexibility. More options. More movement. But underneath that movement, structure hasn't changed. Which means the system hasn't improved. It's just moving faster. To understand this, you have to separate two ideas. Income and allocation. They are not the same system. Income is input. It determines how much enters the system. Allocation is direction. It determines where the input goes. Most people focus on increasing input. Very few design direction. Here's what happens when allocation is not structured. Spending expands with income. Decisions become reactive. Cash flow becomes inconsistent. Progress becomes unclear. Not because there isn't enough money, but because there isn't a defined path. Now, compare that to a structured system. Income enters. Allocation routes it immediately. Priorities are predefined. And decisions are reduced. This is the difference between managing money versus directing money. Allocation is input to filter to output. Income goes to allocation system, which goes to outcome. No filter is just a random output. And a strong filter is a controlled output. A simple way to visualize allocation is through layers. Layer 1, stability. Things like fixed expenses, core obligations, minimum system requirements. This keeps the system intact. Layer 2, protection. Things like cash reserves, risk buffers, and margin. These prevent collapse when pressure increases. Layer 3, growth. Reinvestment, asset building, expansion. This is where scaling actually becomes productive. Layer 4, flexibility. You have things like lifestyle, optional spending, non-essential decisions. This is where most people start, instead of where they should finish. Without this structure, money flows like this. Income to spending, spending to leftovers, maybe. With structure, it becomes income to allocation to controlled outcomes. When allocation is ignored, the system doesn't fail immediately. It degrades slowly. You see it as high income with low control. Growth without stability. Constant financial decision fatigue. And over time, this creates something more subtle. Unpredictability. You don't know where money is going. You don't know what's actually improving. And because income is still coming in, it hides the problem. This is where risk increases quietly, because there's no buffer. No clear priority. No defined direction. So every decision carries more weight than it should. Scaling without allocation creates pressure. But even stable income without allocation creates drift. And drift is harder to detect than failure. Rule number 6. Direct money before you increase it. Most people try to solve money problems by increasing effort. More work, more income, more movement. But structured thinking shifts the focus. It asks, where is the money going by design? Not, how much more can I make? The difference is subtle, but it changes everything. Because once direction is controlled, income becomes more effective. Not just larger. Now the allocation is clear. The next problem becomes unavoidable. Even with structured direction, one question remains. What should money be directed toward over time? Not just where it goes today, but what it builds. Because allocation without intention creates movement, but not necessarily progress. In the next episode, we break down how money compounds and why most systems never reach that stage.